We're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's time for the live show here with TOA Media. I am TOA Godfather, and I'm joined by TOA Nomnicide and TOA Hated. Um, Tonight we're going to be talking about several topics. We've got a few things lined up. The first thing I want to talk about is TOA Media itself, because I don't believe many of y'all are aware of exactly what it's going to be yet. And for more on that, I'm going to let Nam fill you in because he's actually the one that brought it up and got us going on it. So I'll let him take over.
Oh yay! It's all me time. This is what I came here for. Okay. TOA Media is a side expansion to the community as a whole. It both directly affects the community and indirectly affects the community. The community itself can help with it, but all profits and our whole goal is to improve the community side with extra servers and extra tournaments and such. But what the actual media part is, it's almost going to be an editorial of sorts. We can write. We will be writing opinion pieces on just different topics that are coming up in the media. We will be doing reviews of games on both console and PC. I'll be handling more of the console, and those two PC elitists will do most of the PC stuff. Also, we will be doing videos that will be on YouTube on our the Outlaw Army Media channel, YouTube channel, which will hopefully be the little snippets of opinions possibly, and also little video reviews and captures of the continuing of the DayZ and Arma 2 and Call of Duty and Halo and such. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I think the biggest thing is that, when we get the community involved, it gives you guys a space to grow and say, okay, I want to try YouTube, and actually do it with friends instead of just being so, out there in public and, being nervous about it. It just really gives an opportunity for you to get your feet wet, um, use your writing skills that you like doing, and gives you another outlet besides just going right off the bat, trying to start your own YouTube channel, trying to start your own, website. Just gives everyone a chance to actually get involved. So I think this is going to be great for community. I'm excited for it. I do YouTube videos as a hobby, and, just it automatically gave me a foot in the door because, on that YouTube channel I had 80 people already subscribed right off the bat. And I'm getting video views, and it's making me feel better about doing it, and it helps me grow when I'm doing my videos. So that's what I look forward to for everyone else getting that chance as well.
Yeah, that's definitely that's actually a point I haven't even thought about yet. But you already have several people involved here that already know what they're doing with it. We've been doing YouTube videos for a while, so we can already jumpstart somebody who's completely new to it. I know Rabbit and a couple of people have talked about doing it, but they're not really sure how to get started. That's actually a really good point. We could actually help a lot of people out with that and give them a place to put their stuff out without starting from scratch. So that actually would be really good. And as far as the articles, I mean, that's the type of stuff that anybody can write. Like Nam said, anybody can write an article if you're passionate about anything. And we're always looking for content. So on the forums as well as the homepage. So I think that gives us a lot of opportunity there to post some good stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually, I didn't even say that before, but it's not going to be a whole separate site. It won't be part of the forums, which is the /forums, but it'll just be the homepage. So if you have it bookmarked, then you don't need to add another bookmark up there. So you just go there, and then it'll be changed a little bit from all community stuff to TOA Media stuff, which will be the articles and the videos that'll direct you straight to YouTube, and the podcast that we'll put up on the website as well. So it's no extra work.
Yep. I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think that the main thing everyone's going to have to get used to is that we do have a main site, and I know for myself I have the forums bookmarked, and that's where I go, and that's where I look at all my stuff. But I mean, we have a whole great site separate than the forums that can really be used and really get some people involved. So everyone's just going to have to change the way they do things, and hopefully they will.
Yeah, it's going to take some time to get used to, because like in the post that I made on the forums, we've underutilized that tool by a large margin over the last couple of years, and there's possibilities beyond anybody's imagination with it. Because if you go to YouTube and you type in Call of Duty, some of the first videos that are going to come up are people's commentaries and their shoutcasting and things like that. So it just shows that that's the stuff that's popular, and that's basically what we're wanting to do, is move into more of a media area where people can then basically come in and just see a different side to us and see what we do in game as well as out of game, and see how much fun we can be. So that's where, the more people we get involved in this, the more fun it's going to be for everybody, including, us as well as the people reading and watching the stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it, as much as I'm sure other people are as well.
Yeah.
Of course we want viewers and stuff, but also this will contribute to just recruiting as well. We post videos of us of having fun and doing tournaments, or doing, even just being on the DayZ server or Arma 2 server. And then they might be like, oh, well, I like doing that kind of stuff, and I would love to have a community that I can go and at any time of day have 2-3 people online to play with. And then it would just give itself to that too.
I think it showcases what this clan was about from the beginning. Is, if I can show a live stream, of the people I play with and the good times that we have, it'll get more people wanting to be involved, because that's what TOA was built on. It was having fun, getting on, not worrying about winning, just having some fun and bullshitting. So that's what I think we need to focus on, is getting the community to show what we're about, and the videos is something huge about it. So
Exactly. There's so much more to us. I know Kitchen, he's posted some stuff on the forums about how much fun he's been having, and Hazy's talked about what stuff she expects from us and things like that. And there's a whole other side to a lot of us than just the games that we can express through these forms of media than we can just by playing the games every night. So, like I say, it's going to be pretty fun. And speaking of fun stuff to be doing, I know, Hated, you've opened us up to a DayZ server contest, and to my understanding, basically, it's a server for PC where we can get on and have private servers or public, either way we want to do it, and let people come in and play with TOA members. But you're doing a contest to go along with it, and I know there's been a post on the forums, but if you don't mind, kind of tell people what that's all about and what we can expect from it.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do, so I opened a Wasteland server, which is a version of Arma 2, and then there's also a DayZ server. That's a little bit bigger. It's going to be a public DayZ server. It's about 50 slots. So to get some traffic, and this is the hard part about opening up a server, is when you open up a server, if you're getting on a game, you're not going to want to join a server that has 0 people. It's about getting people in there and getting them to play, building a reputation that this is a good server. So what we're trying to do is start a actual server contest. So really, in the past year, DayZ has gotten really big. One of the biggest events they had was a Survivor Games, but it was restricted to only YouTubers. There was a lot of public interest in getting a Survivor Games for public open, so I thought maybe this would be a good way to get some new people in to the server, as well as maybe the clan as well. So I'm trying. We're kind of going a little slow because I'm posting on some sites and things like that, and I haven't really got much sign-ups. But what the cool thing about it is I'm gonna have our own Survivor Games. It's kind of like Hunger Games, if you guys ever watched that or read the books. So it's gonna be teams of 2. Basically, it's the last man standing. Basically.
Nice name drop.
Yeah, Hunger Games.
But basically, for the non-PC gamers, the ones who don't exactly understand what's happening, this is basically like when you log on to Xbox and you get into a match. Mm-hmm. It's essentially a full-time 24/7 running match that you can jump into at any time and jump out of, correct? That's basically what a private server will do for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like having our own Call of Duty sessions. Everyone plays Call of Duty, and we're having to jump into different rooms and things like that. It's basically our own little room to have our game that we play, and it's set up the way we want it to be set up. So
right. And like you're saying, it's our own room, so now we don't have to deal with the randoms and people coming in basically doing the annoying crap that we deal with on Xbox Live sometimes. It's just a way to control that for our purposes.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect to take away from, if there's some annoying kid that comes in my server and they're pissing everyone off, it's going to be easy for me to say, okay, they're gone. So it gives us a lot more control.
Good.
And it gives us special events too that we can do, and just like this DayZ thing. As well as the Wasteland server, I'm planning on trying to get, use part of our competition site to have, clan wars, for the Arma 2 community. So it's kind of things like that we didn't have abilities to do on Xbox. I mean, we had small, matches and things like that, but we can really make it our own. So that's what they're so
Right.
great about.
Well, and like you're saying with the clan matches and things, I mean, can you I guess would this open up the possibilities to us taking a team into the server, and then if there's say 50 spots on the server, can you get 5 or 6 teams at once going? I mean, as long as there's that many slots, I mean, is that the kind of stuff you can do instead of where Xbox you have Team A and Team B, we could have Team A through F, right? I mean, I'm understanding that right.
Yeah, and DayZ is a little bit different. DayZ is every man for himself, but you can also have groups. You can set up a team. Like right now, I play with 4 or 5 other people on DayZ. We have our own little base. We're able to, go around the map trying to get weapons, things like that. And there can be 15 other teams that are on that server trying to fight us at the same time. Arma's a little bit different. If eventually we, get into maybe a Call of Duty server or something like that, we can open it up to how many spots we want, and as much people can fit in there as well. So.
Right, and just so the listeners know, the video playing right now is the Arma 2, right? That's not DayZ.
This is actually DayZ that's playing. This is
sorry.
This is all DayZ.
Okay, that is DayZ. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as far as the servers go, I know we've talked about this some on the forums and talked about it with some of the TOA members. This definitely opens up a whole new possibility for TOA that we've never really explored before, in that we can have servers for any game basically. On PC, I do know, I've researched that enough to know that we now have a Minecraft server, we have a DayZ server, an Arma server. But basically, if it's a PC game that a lot of people get into, we can open up a server for it and do the things on other games like you're talking about. Correct?
Yeah, as long as a PC game offers dedicated servers, and servers that can be operated by a personal entity. I know that I believe that Black Ops, when it came out, wasn't like that. I might be wrong on it, but yeah, you could basically get any server we want, and that's the great thing about it. And hopefully, if these catch on, we can actually get our own dedicated server and be able to spread it out between multiple games instead of just focusing on one. So.
Oh man, that would be amazing if we could get built up to having 30 different games we could play at any time we wanted to. I noticed Kitchen posted in the chat box there about Battlefield 3, not Black Ops. I mean, that's games that weren't heavily supported by TOA, or at least they were heavily supported initially, but because Xbox Live failed on Battlefield 3 with the party system, what I guess to my understanding, that would open us up to being able to have better party systems and things, because we would be in control of the whole thing. If we've got the chat software like TeamSpeak or Ventrilo or one of those, it basically allows us to control the party however we want to. So in my personal opinion, I feel like PCs are probably better in that respect, because we're in so much more control of our parties and how we want to run our own lobbies, whereas the Xbox is a little more restricting in that way. So I mean, that's definitely something that we need to push for then, it sounds like, is for more servers. And if we can get some support from the community, and especially the PC gamers, I completely understand somebody that only owns a console not really supporting the idea. But, the more support we can get, the more fun we can have with this whole concept. I mean, it sounds like to me anyways, I may be wrong. There may be more drawbacks than I understand at this point. But, it sounds like something we could really build up to.
Yeah, and I mean, it does take a lot of work to do it. I mean, I have to give a shout out to Shift. I mean, he worked 4 days in a row from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. just to set up the server. I mean, he had to do a lot of coding, things like that. But once you get it up, it's pretty easy to handle. There's some automated things that happens, as well as another good thing is that when you have a server, you get hundreds of people, joining that server. And at that point, they're able to say, okay, this clan has their own server. Maybe I want to join them. So it gives us another place to reach gamers that we want to get into the community. So that's something that we haven't had before.
Gotcha. Yeah, that definitely sounds much better. I did notice here in the chat box a question that got brought up here by Achilles. He's asked a question: when the DayZ standalone releases, are we going to stay on DayZ, or are we going to stay on Arma? I mean, and open up a DayZ, or how is that going to work?
So I have, technically right now I have a Wasteland server that's only 20 spots, and it's only going to be used for special events. It's not going to be something anymore that I'm going to have it open to the public or whatever. It's just going to be special events. The Daisy mod server right now will be switched over once the standalone comes out. That's as soon as it happens, and I don't know when that's going to be. As well as we're also getting a dedicated server that I can switch, to whatever I want it to be as well, and that could also, be, another game or another. We can also host a TeamSpeak or whatever like that too.
Awesome. Okay, so basically we're going to have a smaller Wasteland Arma 2 server and then a larger DayZ for now, and then once the standalone comes out, we're going to try to kind of, I guess,
spread it, basically spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some insightful stuff there. Even as much as I've been researching the servers, I didn't know all that, so that's good to know. One thing I did want to bring up for the show tonight, I hate to switch gears on us here so harshly, but one thing I did want to talk about is everybody's aware of the award system that I've put into place. I know a lot of the TOA people have been given ideas and things like that for awards and things that we can do, and I posted, I guess it's probably been a couple of weeks ago now, the initial awards that we're going to give out. And I have been talking to the staff on who the awards are going to go to and everything, and I do have the official results for the first round of awards for us. So I guess I'll start with one, probably, I guess that everybody's wanting, I guess, if you're proud of your skills in game, and that's the Player of the Month. And we decided to give it to Reef Man. He's been playing a lot, and his game has improved over the last few weeks, and he's been playing a lot with us. So the staff agreed to give the Player of the Month to Reef Man. As far as the Recruit of the Month, this one was a little bit tougher. It come down to really between 3 different people, and it was a really tight vote, but it has been decided to go to Jack Athnos. Congratulations to Jack on that. He's definitely been active on the forums and been posting a lot of content and playing in game and been really active for us. And I don't know if there's any surprise here, but the Contributor of the Month is going to have to go to Hated. We discussed whether the second in command needed to get this award, but it was also realized that he's produced more content than probably me and the other 30 people combined have put out.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
So that's going to be the first round of awards. As far as the next month awards go, the time allotment for when we're going to keep up with it actually starts tomorrow, February 1st, and of course, for hopefully by the end of next month, we can have another live broadcast and announce them, or at least announce them on the site. So did want to give out a big congratulations to everybody that did win the first round of awards. It was a whole lot tighter vote than most people probably realize. But it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate all the stuff that people were doing to try to win these. The next thing that I did want to bring up while we're on here live talking is the rank updates. This kind of goes along with the awards. The rank updates that I did, if you look in the TOA membership information area, I have the TOA ranking information thread started in there. And basically, I just realized that we didn't have too much way of breaking down who was doing what, and it was hard for people as they come in to know who was higher ranking, because the way I had it was only like 5 or 6 ranks that were attainable by members. So you come in and you say, okay, well, there's 15, 20 people at the same rank, but I don't know who's been here longer or whatever. So basically my thinking was spread it out a little more, and give me a way to differentiate who is where. And that way, when a recruit comes in, he can see if he's this rank, he can kind of see the order of, I don't want to use the word importance, but the order of command, I guess you could say, or the order of respect. So if you haven't seen that yet, definitely go in there and check it out. There's now, I think, 9 or 10 attainable ranks instead of what it used to be, maybe just 8. I can't remember exactly now. I'm not looking at it myself at the moment. But, definitely a lot to achieve here with us lately with the awards and the ranking system and all that. I've pretty well got everybody put at the ranks that they're going to be for right now. There's a couple of the ones where you could move up above, say, made man to an enforcer, and that's based upon what you do or how much content you produce and things like that. So there's some room to move for the people that want to put out that kind of effort. But like I say, just check them out. Get familiar with where they are, because I have color coded all of them on the website for everyone. to immediately see where someone stands. A thread that was posted a couple days ago, and I thought this was actually Nam's idea, and I thought it was a really good idea, was about the next generation consoles. And basically what we asked was, out of the next generation consoles, which one did you plan on buying? And it come down to the Xbox 720, the PS4, the Steam box, or if you already had a badass computer, were you just going to stick with that? And not surprising in most ways, the Xbox 720 currently stands with the most votes at 8, and then people that already have PCs at number 5, and 2 people voted for PS4 and Steam box each. So basically, it told me it's kind of interesting who is leaning which way, and I guess I was kind of shocked, really, that the Steam box didn't get more votes after all the talk it's been on the forums about it. I mean, how do you guys feel about it? Were you expecting more people to want the Steam box?
Well, I think a lot of people that have a Steam library already have a good PC to play it. But I do like the idea of having that 2 separate ones. There's also a little bit of a miscommunication with that piston thing that was announced earlier this year already, because that's not the Steam box, but a lot of people think it is, even though it's super expensive and not at all Steam. But I just thought that didn't help the poll at all.
Yeah, I think that's my same thought too, is that, there's not a lot to know about the Steam box yet, so that's probably why it's not really being, everyone excited about it, except for PC gamers really right now. I think it's going to take a lot for Steam to get into that race, and I don't think they're there yet. And I think eventually they should be, because I mean, Steam is awesome. I was away from PC for so long, and then I came back and I was like, holy crap, why did I play Xbox for this long? Like, I'm buying games for $20 that keep me busy, when I was paying $60 for Xbox games that blew after a week. So I think it'll change once it gets a little bit farther along.
Yeah, and I see here that Achille asked who the PS4 is. Like, who are those traitors out there? No, I know I was one of the votes, but I also put Xbox 720 and PS4 just because I said.
So you were one of those people. So Achilles, get on him. Right.
Yeah. Well, I also have I just said I'll probably get them all eventually, because I mean I have a Wii U. Let's be honest, can't get much worse than that. But no, I personally like the PlayStation ecosystem. This is Nomnicide talking. Please message me and with you.
Message me on the forums, everyone.
Yeah. No, just no, but
No.
I like that ecosystem. Although they have their problems and their sucky community, but details.
Details. I probably will get an Xbox 720 because I like sports games, and I haven't really found that the PC is good for sports games, so that's probably the only reason I'll be getting an Xbox.
Okay. You're definitely in the same boat as me. Madden is the only game that I'm going to miss if I don't get a console of some sort. So I'm confident I'll wind up breaking down and getting one at some point. But
is it not on PC?
It used to be, but I haven't seen it now in a few years, them putting Madden on PC. And even if it was, I can't imagine it's near the quality that it is on a console. As far as I really would not want to have to hit buttons on my keyboard to throw it to somebody. So, and when you're running, I can imagine that's probably pretty ugly as well. So, that's basically, I'm in the same boat as Hayden. If it wasn't for sports games, I would probably go straight PC. But I can't live without my Madden. That's my number 2 game every year. So.
Yep. Okay, yes, the Wii U system is good. Again, Achilles is busting my balls here, but it is good. There's just no games for it yet. Oh yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, with the Steam box, if you're obviously used to playing Steam box, if you're used to playing the Xbox 360, too many boxes, then yeah, you can just use the like a wired Xbox controller even to play regular PC games. I mean, I have Far Cry 3 on the PC because it looks amazing, and I use a Xbox 360 controller instead of a mouse and keyboard.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't realize you could do that. I need to pay attention more. I believe I'm apparently too into the TOA website at times because I miss this good stuff all the time.
Yeah, I had a PlayStation 3 before I had my Xbox, and I tried to hook one of those controllers up to the PC, and that was a nightmare. But no, it'll just plug and play if you get any type of Xbox 360 controller, since it's all Microsoft, which is nice.
One thing I did want to talk about here, while we're talking about the next generation consoles, a lot of people have been talking about on the forums, especially on the forums, but as well as just in game and things, about building PCs and how complicated it can be and things like that. And I know we've talked about, it's not that bad. It just takes a little, research and learning and understanding. Watch a couple of YouTube videos. I mean, to be completely stone cold honest, I was a complete noob at the whole idea of building a PC 3 months ago. And literally all I did was sit down and watch 2 different YouTube videos on how to build a PC. And then I got on the forums and asked if anybody could direct me. And Achilles posted a novel of information for me. And he taught me, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. He posted me literally a book's worth of information of stuff that he had learned himself. And by the time I got done with his thread and those 2 YouTube videos, I ordered the stuff, put together my own PC, and that's what I've been playing ever since. So, to the people who don't want to invest in the new consoles like me, I really don't want to spend my money on the consoles. I'd rather save that money and put it into my PC and get cooler stuff to go with it, or cooler peripherals or something like that. It's not that difficult to build a PC, and there's a wealth of people here that can help you out with it. I mean, I'm by no means a guru, but I could definitely help you with the putting together process and what to look for and things like that, as well as Achilles. I know Hayden's put together his own. I believe, Nam, you've put together your own at some point. So, there's a lot of us that can help you out with it. And I've actually put up a forum on our forums, a new thread area for PC discussion. And it's basically an area for you to come in and ask questions and things like that. So that way we can all get more familiar with it for anybody who is interested. So I just did want to throw that out there while we were talking about it. If anybody is interested, that forum is there for everybody's use now.
Yeah, and I forget who. I think Hated posted the 30-minute long video of the British guy building a PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a real good video, saying that you don't even need to spend more than the consoles might be to get a PC that's already better than they are.
Yeah, basically he was building his own Steam box, and he was basically doing it for just as much as it was for a console. So, I think the stigma regarding building a PC is that you have to be this big nerd and you have to know all these electrical components and all these kind of things. Most of it's plug and play. I mean, it's really not bad at all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for mine, it was literally like you said. I was literally just like, okay, well, it's pretty obvious. It's pointing arrows in the directions, telling me exactly where to plug this in or where to put the screws, and
it's a lot. It's
really simple.
Too.
I mean, it's a whole lot more simple than it appears.
Oh, screwdriver! I know. Hold on. You have to know how to turn a screwdriver. It's really hard, guys. So that's what you have to be prepared for.
I guess to keep moving along here, one of the topics that was brought up by Nam that he wanted to discuss, and I thought this was a really good idea, is the video game news that's been coming out. Because being the first of the year, there's obviously a lot of companies are pumping their stuff out right now and pumping out the news and information for the upcoming year. One of the topics that was brought up on the forums was that THQ has been dissolved. And basically, to my understanding, they filed Chapter 11, I think, if I read that correctly.
Yeah.
And they basically then all their divisions got bought up by other companies, and I think Sega wound up with their biggest division, if I remember correctly.
Well, most important to you.
Yeah. Well, okay, but let's be fair, that's true. But either way, they did wind up with it, so at least it was a company I know that bought it. But the rest of them got bought up. So I mean, I guess here's the question: What do you think this means to the other companies that might be struggling right now? I mean, do you think there are these other shark companies just sitting there waiting to snap them up, or is this just a blip on the radar for THQ that they just had a run of bad fortune?
I mean, the U-Draw stuff didn't help, but that was a whole stuff. But how I took this was, because they were kind of in the middle of the road company, because they didn't have anything like Call of Duty or Halo or Gears of War or anything, but they also weren't doing indie games, which are really popular right now. So they had a medium-sized budget for all their games, like Darksiders and Saints Row the Third and all the Company of Hero games. And I just feel like that market is shrinking a lot. Because you don't see a whole lot of stuff on for commercials or even on YouTube, like those little commercials there, for anything. But like Borderlands had a huge campaign, or obviously Call of Duty because they have multi-million-dollar budgets and stuff like that. Or like people talking about little indie games and whatnot. So I don't know, they just didn't diversify enough, and I just didn't feel like they had a place. And obviously the market didn't think they did either.
Right. I don't know. It was something that struck me funny because I got to thinking about it. I thought, if you're a company like EA or Rockstar, or one of those major companies out there, I mean, you probably are better off to sit here and just wait for some of these, struggling companies to fall apart and just buy up their franchises. It's like instant ideas. You don't even have to think up yourself,
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
that would be my thinking if I was in the game industry in any capacity anyways. Another topic that I read today that I thought was pretty interesting was that EA has announced that they're pulling the plug on Medal of Honor, and it was a pretty vague article. It was just go ahead, Nam. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I just said woohoo.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't a fan myself, but since it is a major title, it did catch my eye. And they said that basically the quote that was in it was that the last game sucked so bad that they decided to just pull the plug on it. I don't know if they meant exactly that they're pulling the plug on it altogether, or if they're just pulling it out of the yearly rotation. They didn't really specify in the article that I read, but it's obviously one of the games like Call of Duty that gets done every year, so I'm sure there'll be more on that. But I found that to be interesting, being a major title, and it was so bad.
See, but that's weird because I hear that, some people like that game. I see some YouTube, things on Medal of Honor and stuff like that, but that's surprising that they said it sucked that bad.
Yeah, and this was the game maker saying it. They were referring to it like as an epic fail. I mean,
It probably didn't sell at all.
Yeah,
I guess if you're looking strictly numbers, I guess that's where they come up with that. But
I mean, didn't it come out like 2 or 3 weeks before Black Ops 2 did?
I think so. Maybe a month, but something.
That was
like
just bad.
Yeah, I mean, why? If you're a first-person shooter, why would you even try to compete with Call of Duty within a month either direction of when they come out? I mean, I know there's a lot of us now that don't like Black Ops 2. I mean, I'm not even saying that Black Ops 2 is that great, but just because of the title that Call of Duty is, why would you even try to compete with it? That's what I didn't understand about the whole deal. It's obviously it's going to suffer.
I mean, it's funny because like Medal of Honor was actually bigger than both of those. Before, like on the PS2. I mean, that was the first game I played on PS2. It was like Medal of Honor Frontline or something, and it was amazing.
It was a great game. I don't know. It just blows my mind, I guess, that even though I'm a Call of Duty fanboy for the most part, that's definitely to be debated, as of today. But over the last few years, I've been a Call of Duty fanboy, and I guess it's amazing to me that Call of Duty took over so well because of the path that Medal of Honor was on. They were on a really good path in the PS2 days. Yeah. I don't know. Just kind of strange to me. One thing that got posted today on the forums, too, was that Black Ops 2 is now partnered with Twitch to where we'll be able to stream our games live directly through our Xbox. And to me, that's going to be amazing because this goes along with the media that we've been talking about for TOA and things. Now you don't have to buy the extra equipment if you want to stream your Black Ops 2. You literally can do it right through the console, and that, to me, it could be huge for TOA, but huge for gaming in general because it will turn it, in my opinion, it's going to turn it into a multimedia thing. I mean, no longer do you have to get on YouTube to watch videos. You'll be able to just get on Twitch and watch thousands upon thousands of feeds. To me, that's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, and it doesn't all have to fall on hated shoulders anymore to produce content. Like, you could just get on and be like, oh, well, I want to play for 2 hours. I can stream it as well, post it up on the website, and then just play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, and it's similar to like what Hayden's been doing. I mean, he's pretty much just been streaming, just when he's just randomly playing, and then he may make a video out of something really cool that happened,
Right.
But I don't know. I enjoy watching streams from time to time, especially if I'm kind of messing on the TOA website or something like that. I'll flip over there and watch a stream, and just see how somebody's playing or how it's going. And I just thought that was a really great idea. I think this is going to open up to many more possibilities in the coming months and years because I mean, Call of Duty is not going to get left behind on I'm sorry, not Call of Duty, but Battlefield will be the next one to get in on it. There's going to be a lot of other games to get in with them, and now that Twitch has opened up to consoles, not only will this make Twitch bigger, it may take over as far as the number one watched over Ustream and all those people.
Yeah,
I can easily see that happening.
It's a huge market. I mean, like, I don't do anything special on my streams, and I'm getting, so far I've gotten 16,000 views. I mean, I'm not boasting for it, but I mean, that's just me playing a game, on an everyday basis, them somebody coming in and watching it. So, I mean, it gives us a lot more exposure, into the gaming world, and hopefully everyone takes advantage of it, especially since it's easy. It's, through Call of Duty, the game you play anyway, you might as well check it out. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, like you do. I mean, if you're going to play the game anyways, why not just turn on your stream and let people get on there and chat with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt? I mean, if unless you're like me and you're terrible at the game, I mean, that might hurt us a little bit. But I won't even speak to how terrible I am at Arma. If it wasn't for Hated to hold my hand the whole time, I probably would just stand in one spot and get sniped. But
he helps you. He shoots me. I get on there here. Yeah, welcome to Arma. Here, die. Like, thanks, Hated.
Well, that's what happens.
Small news, but I did read today that Battlefield has been announced for next year, and DICE, the company that makes it, did state that it will stay as a Modern Warfare game. They're not going future or anything like that. So I know we do have a few Battlefield fans, so I thought that might be something noteworthy. The next thing, I guess, really to move into, to go along kind of with the video game news is...
speaking of
the upcoming...
coming out next year.
Yeah, the upcoming games themselves. I guess I'll start us off because I'm really psyched about the new Company of Heroes coming out. Coming out in March, and I know a lot of y'all haven't gotten into that game, but I have to admit I've probably had more fun playing with Hated and Achilles on Company of Heroes over the last 2 or 3 months than I've probably had on Call of Duty in a while. To be completely honest, it's a different style of game. It is a war game, but it's a completely different style. It's a real-time strategy, so you're not actually looking at your guy holding the gun and you physically shoot someone. It's you send a group of guys to go protect an area or something like that, and it's just the strategy that goes into it is, to me, that's a whole lot more enthralling than just running around the map with a shotgun and making little kids cry. I mean, it's more fun to me. And those marathons that me and Hated have, oh my gosh, dude, sitting here crusty-eyed, wishing I had something to drink, needing a cigarette,
it's serious. It's a serious game.
Me and Hated dropping F-bombs back and forth, and like, what in the, bleep is that flying over? I mean, it's so much fun. Seriously, if there's somebody listening that wants to get a PC and hasn't got it yet, that game alone, for me, would make me want to own a PC. I literally could see me playing that for the next 5 years.
This game that's out right now is cheap. It's old. I mean, it's by far playable. I mean, that's not the problem. It's just it came out a few years ago, but so it shouldn't. It'd be like $10 at the most to pick up everything.
It's $10. You can get the expansion packs for probably another $10, and that way you can have all the stuff unlocked that everybody else has, and get your feet wet with it. Try the game out, see if you like it. But I mean, you can still me and Achilles and Hated have no problem finding matches. When we jump on, there's no problem at all to find a match to play, and they even have it set up to where you can play against AI opponents and put them at whatever level you want them to be at. So even if there's no games you want to play, you can still find a game to play. And
sometimes you have to do that because you get run over. So
if you're as behind on that game as we are, you tend to get in there and basically get your ass handed to you. But I won't say some of the nasty things Hated to say about playing people on there. But it's definitely a fun game. And like I say, it's Company Heroes 2 coming out in March. And we've been playing the original Company Heroes. It's 5-6 years old now, I think, something like that. If I'm correct on it, at least that old. And it's like I say, it's just a whole different style of game. It's an absolute
2007.
Play. Nice. I didn't even know for sure. I just guessed. But it's an absolute blast. I recommend anybody picking it up. I know the other game that's been talked about a lot is the DayZ standalone, and obviously we've already talked about it in this live broadcast, it coming out with servers and everything. But is one thing I meant to ask you, Hated, is there anything going to be different in the standalone than it is now, or is it pretty well just a polished build of the game?
So this is the thing with the DayZ. So DayZ now is just a mod of a military simulator, which doesn't correlate directly to a zombie apocalypse game. So what's going on now is the creator of the mod was actually signed on to create the actual standalone. So there's going to be, updated character models that aren't just military people. As you see in the video that's playing, it's military people. This is going to be like real people. It looks like it's going to be a lot harder, as what he's said on the Reddit post and his Twitter and things like that. It's going to be a lot harder to survive. You're going to be able to get colds, and you're going to be, sick sometimes, and it's basically a fight for survival game instead of just a military simulator. The thing that's happened in the DayZ mod is at first, it was that fight to survive and things like that, but then it started to become a PvP game. You fight each other, and that's not what it was meant to be. It was really meant to work together to survive, and that's what they're trying to get back to. So there's going to be a lot more stuff. It might be not as easy to find, gas and things like that for your car. One of the biggest things that they're working on right off the bat is on the DayZ mod. Not all the buildings are enterable. A lot of them are fake and things like that. They're trying to make every building enterable, and it be able to, build your base around a building or something like that. So that's the little kind of things that are coming out. And it's going to be based on a new, it's going to be ARMA kind of 2.5. Right now it's on ARMA 2, which is a little bit older. It's a really good simulator, but it's a modification of that. And ARMA 3 is coming up after DayZ as well.
Yeah.
So
I thought they were using the ARMA 3 engine.
So they're not using the full ARMA 3 engine. They're going to use ARMA 2.5. So,
oh, that's good.
yeah.
I got to admit, what little I've played DayZ, I probably haven't given it a fair shake, but to me, the psychological side of that game, because I'm a huge zombie movie fan, so naturally it translates into a game that I'm attracted to. The psychological side of that game is pretty amazing to me, that if you're looking for an immersive game where you can literally kind of put yourself in that position and think, what would I do, if I was really in this position, it's pretty amazing. I've never played a game that could do that to me.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting there playing and you're thinking, do I go in this building or do I not? And I kind of picture myself, if I'm really out there, it's like, man, if I hear one growl, I'm going to shit my pants, and then I'm going to go hide in a corner somewhere. Yep. And when you're playing, I've got to turn the lights out, turn the microphones down a little bit so I can only hear a whisper from, Hated or whoever I'm playing with. But it's funny to me how immersive the game can get. And like you said, it's actually an outdated game at this point, so I can only imagine what the new one is going to be. If you can get sick and stuff how bad would that suck to be in the middle of a zombie apocalypse and get the stomach flu? How terrible would that be? Or, I don't know. It's just, to me, that's what I've learned, from what little I have played, is that it is more of an immersive game than a lot of other ones that I've played. Not immersive like a role-playing game would be, like Guild Wars 2 or something like that, but it's more of a playing on the what would you do situation stuff. And to me, that's what makes it so much fun. For what enjoyment I have gotten out of it, that's what I've enjoyed, is the thinking aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, if you haven't played it yet, because it was definitely put out thinking, oh yeah, people can work together against all these zombies. But yeah, once you get down the zombies, they're not really too much of an issue. But the thing is, people are dicks. Let's just be honest. You think people are jerks on Call of Duty? No, people won't even ask if you're friendly or not anymore. They'll shoot you and then just take your stuff. You don't even have to have a gun.
Yep.
That's what it evolved into, which I understand why, because people just don't trust each other, I guess, online, which makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, it used to be like you come to a guy, oh, I'm friendly. I was like, okay, let's go, let's band together, let's go to this city, see what we can find, and then you end up dying because you don't have anything anyway. But yeah, and I do like the diseases in the new one, at least what I've heard so far, is because you can pick up like ghillie suits in the games, so you can be less visible. And there's certain diseases that attach to clothing. So if you take the ghillie suit off the guy and he has the disease, and you'll get it. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So it's like
that's how much amazing.
How much do I really need this, and is it worth it?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the caution things I give is, like, if you're coming from a Call of Duty, mindset of it's gonna be action packed every minute of the second, I'm gonna be shooting people, it's not the game for you, unfortunately. There's a lot of downtime of running and, searching and, finding an engine part for 3 hours. That's what I've done before. I've been looking for one particular thing for a couple hours and I finally find it, and then somebody kills me. I mean, it can really piss you off. Just
Oh my gosh, do not get me started on that. That first night I played, I bet you hated hadn't heard so much ugly stuff when I died that first time.
Yeah.
Man, I was so mad. And that to me though is the aspect though that makes it so immersive. That goes back to what I was talking about, because you literally get to a point to where if you really get into the game, you have to think, is the risk versus the risk versus reward situation. Is it worth sticking my head out here to go get that bottle of water or that cookie or whatever's on the ground, and versus somebody sitting over sniping you and taking everything you got, and you got to start over from scratch. Like you said, that's been my stumbling block with it, is I'm so used to being the guy running around with a shotgun on Call of Duty, to go to a game like that where I literally have to wait, or if I look and I know there's something in that building, that's 2 blocks down the road, but it's covered by zombies, like you said, you literally have to wait or go in like a madman and hope you survive, one of the two.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the difficult part to get over, but it's also the fun part, because it's a complete 180 of the style of game that I would normally play.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you think differently.
It does.
And I don't know, maybe that's just me. Like I say, I know you really like it, hate it. I've talked to other people that like it. I'm probably built more for the Wasteland style, just where there is at least a little more action going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure the DayZ standalone will be different too. Especially if we get our own server for it, and I can get on there and not have that asshole sniping me from 2.5 miles away and coming up and taking my sandwich. I could see me enjoying it a little more.
I mean, just for finding engine parts, the first time I saw a car in DayZ, I nearly crapped my pants. I was like, that person had to have played for days to find that, to build that car back up for working. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so much work.
Yeah, and I think the biggest change for it is the permadeath. I mean, Call of Duty people and Battlefield people aren't used to permadeath. I mean, what that kind of means is if you die, you start back on the coast with absolutely nothing. Nothing at all, and you have to loot, find weapons, find bandages and things like that. So that's really where it gets a big change from playing those first-person shooters that are just quick. So
I guess I'll ask this question. Since we're in the chat box and people can respond, I guess instead of talking more and more about the games that we play, what games are you guys looking forward to?
That's good.
What would you say is your number one game coming out over the next few months that you're wanting to play? We can kind of bounce around here a little bit, but we'll come back to it as people post. Some of the games they're talking about, and in the meantime, we'll kind of go a little off topic here, unless you live under a rock or you're 80 years old and can't hear, the Super Bowl is this Sunday, and they did a Madden run through today on to see their way of predicting the Super Bowl, and according to the Madden turnout, the Ravens beat the Niners 27-24. And the interesting thing about it is Madden has predicted it correctly 7 out of the last 9 years. So, not that that's necessarily saying anything for Madden, but I did find that interesting that they've predicted it correctly that many times.
Yeah.
But as far as the Super Bowl goes, I'll ask you guys this. What do you look forward to the most on Super Bowl Sunday?
Not the game, I'll tell you that much.
Well, I'm a football fan, so I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. But the commercials, that's also a good thing too.
Yeah, the commercials. Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna lie, because I really don't like either team playing in it this year. I'm definitely going for the Wings. But in most years I would be excited about the game, but this is one of those years where I honestly could not care less who wins.
Okay, I have to read this. Achilles put this correctly. I just like his priorities, though. I'll just read the end. So I'll just drink and eat. Eating isn't the priority here. Drinking is. It's gonna be that bad for him. He has to go to drink and then eat if he has time.
That's pretty well all the stuff that I had tonight to talk about. If anybody...
I did see a question down here from, I think it was Kitchen. Yeah, there it is. About the monthly awards that we didn't cover this. Will it appear on the person's player card at all first? And will it be there permanently or just for that month that they get it? Like he gave the example, will Hated have contributor of the month forever? Like he'll just have like a little -1 beside it, or will it just be on his card for just this month?
When you go to somebody's profile, they have an award showcase, and basically the way that I will issue the awards is it will say Player of the Month for January 2013, or something like that. So it will actually forever be yours for that month. The award will actually look the same month to month, but it will have a date beside it as long as all that works out correctly.
Oh, okay.
One thing I did forget was the Member of the Month, and I completely apologize how I forgot that. I don't know. But this shows you how unprepared I probably really was. But the Member of the Month is actually going to go to Rabid Virus. There was, I think, about 8 or 9 names that were brought up and voted on, and he narrowly edged out 3 other people. But Rabid obviously runs the Call of Duty division, but he's also been posting a lot on the forums. He's been, doing basically what a model member needs to do as far as being a good all-around member. So we've decided to give the award to him, so congratulations to him. And once again, congratulations to everybody that won the awards for this month. As far as the games that we were talking about, I did see right here on the chat box that somebody brought up the new Splinter Cell. I'm not going to lie, I don't play Splinter Cell, so I'm going to shut up if you guys have anything to say about it. But it's one of those games where I'm not sneaky enough when I play. I just can't stand not to shoot something. So much like DayZ, that's why I die on it. I can't stand not to kill something moving, wanting to eat me.
I think we're seeing a trend here. You're just not patient.
I'm not patient. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a patient guy when it comes to my games.
Well, I know
you guys take off on that one.
Some people like this, some people don't. But I know, at least for you, this would be interesting. That they're taking a more both approach to that because they want to make it more action-packed for the whole Call of Duty crowd now, because that's the game that sells the most every year. But it is still retaining its stealth gameplay, so you can really play it however you want. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I know some hardcore Splinter Cell people are upset that you can go guns blazing and not die immediately.
I mean, I can see that. I'm not even a Splinter Cell fan. I don't like the fact that other games, see what's going on in Call of Duty and try to make their game like it. I mean, that annoys me. I mean, you gotta stick with what your game's about, and that's what your fans like. Why change it to something that 13-year-old kids like? I mean, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
My personal opinion.
Don't get me started on Halo changing to Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because nobody liked that. I mean, some of the improvements were a good idea, but since Call of Duty did it, and they took perks basically. It's not. Yeah, it's a lot of the hardcore Halo people are upset at that. Even just running, which blows my mind.
No running in this game.
I know another one that it's not popping up, but a lot of the community is looking forward to is the new Rainbow Six game.
Oh, that's interesting. I would be interested in that one. I liked the last one.
Yeah, Vegas was that the last one?
Yeah,
Vegas 2, I think.
Vegas 2.
That was a pretty fun one. It's a good team game.
It is. I mean, I was excited for the Ghost Recon Future Soldier one. That lasted all of a month. It was a good game.
That's pretty short life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
One of the things just got posted in the chat box too. Thank you, Kitch, for reminding me. He has brought up a contest idea, and he is being nice enough to donate the prize for this contest, and I believe it's 1,600 Microsoft points. What he wants to do with it, and I thought this was a fantastic idea, was post up these 1,600 Microsoft points to whoever has the best response to the question of what do you like most about being in the Outlaw Army. And basically let people respond. We'll post it up on the forums, let everyone respond, and we'll give it a couple of weeks, I guess, probably for everybody to respond, but then we will basically let the community vote on the best responses, and the top 3 or 4 responses will then be used for recruiting purposes, like when we make posts somewhere else or on the homepage, on the forums, wherever. But it will basically be almost like a scrapbooking, I guess, of what people love about TOA and what they are looking for. What they get most out of TOA, I guess, is the best way to say it. What they enjoy the most. And so I thought that was a fantastic idea. And he's, like I said, he's cool enough to donate the 1,600 points as well. So everybody can give Kitchen a pat on the back, or at least a virtual version of that.
That's a really good idea.
But I will hopefully get that posted in the next day or two. I won't make any promises, but I will try to get that up in the next day or two so everybody can start responding to it. That pretty well does it for me. I'm out of topics.
I have one more question that I thought we can get feedback also, because I found a lot of people have a problem. This is going back up to having a PC as your main console issue, is since people don't really buy, because I have never bought a disc PC game that you go and install and then you don't need the disc anyway. Because how do you feel, and then anyone can answer this, how do you feel about having like an all digital console? Like even if like the Xbox came out and said we don't have a disc drive, you can just buy it all digital day one. How do you guys feel about having digital games instead of on disc?
See, for me personally, I've always liked the ability to rent my games before I play them. Now, I know for the PC you can't do it, and there might be a trial that I can download, so that kind of gets around that. But like if I'm not sure about a game, I want to go to, I don't know. It used to be Blockbuster, but I don't know. I haven't rented a game in a while. But you go there, you rent a game, you play it for a couple of days, and you can really get a feel of if you want to buy it or not. That's just my opinion. So I would hate it if it was a console that didn't take disc.
I'm torn myself. I'm torn on the idea. Mm-hmm. I was one of those that said that I would not go along with a digital download idea, but that was before I started using Steam. And now that I've used it for a while, to me the trade-off is they should be able to produce the games cheaper, because you don't have all the material costs and shipping costs and middlemen and all that stuff that are marking up the games. So basically, you could take a company like, we'll use EA as an example, but say EA creates a new game that would normally be $60 in Walmart or GameStop or Best Buy, wherever you buy them, and instead of it having to be $60 because you've got EA that has to make money on it, and they already have to upcharge it because of all the costs that went into manufacturing the disc and getting it out and all that stuff, because they all get them made in Mexico nowadays apparently, so that costs them a lot of money. Wink, wink. And but then you go from there, and then it has to go to a distributor, and then from there it has to go to Walmart, and then they have to make a profit on it. So by the time you mark this up, that's why the game is $60. They could sell the game for $30 to $40 if there weren't all these other people needing to get fed, through the whole process. So that's where, now that I've been using Steam for a little while, I'm realizing that if they would go along with the idea of selling it a little bit cheaper, even say a new game for $45 instead of $60, I believe that offsets the problem a little bit for me. I could live with it if I'm going to save money on the buying end anyways.
A lot of games for PC I know start at $50. Well, not like big AAA games, but maybe like AA or less games start at like $50 instead of the $60 retail, or even specific games for the PC start at $20 or $30. I always like that it's cheaper to get the same games.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, Spears. I mean, I didn't think about it that way. Maybe it would make the games a little bit cheaper. Yeah, but it's hard for me to think if they're still going to charge you $60 and they're not even going to give you a disc to where if you wanted to sell it later, I mean, I sell a lot of games. I mean, if I don't like it, I'm going to sell my game. And if you don't have that option, I mean, it's gonna suck.
Well, and that's what Kitchen just posted in the chat box as well. He loves playing used games and selling the games he doesn't play anymore. And then Hazy made a good point there about that we're a gaming family and we share the games and things like that. So not being able to do that anymore would kind of suck, actually. So, I don't know. That's like I say, I'm kind of torn on. If they would sell the games cheaper, I would be in for it, and I mean drastically cheaper. $5 is not enough for me to not feel like I need a physical copy in my hands, but. If they go along with that idea, I think it would be okay to do all digital download. If you're going to go the route of having to have physical copies and all the extra costs and all that, it doesn't necessarily bother me because I don't have to worry about dropping my disc and scratching it or something like that in the game not playing. This way, if my computer completely takes a crap on me and I have to completely gut it and redo it, all I have to do is download Steam, re-download all my games, and I've still got them.
Yeah.
So I see advantages and disadvantages both ways. And, of course, obviously the main reason they're wanting to do all this, the main reason they're pushing for the digital download is piracy. it would definitely cut down on the amount of that because, there would no longer be disc burners and stuff. And I know all these, the hackers and stuff would figure out ways to still do it. But in their eyes, they're thinking it would at least minimize it.
Yeah.
So I see why they're pushing for it. But as well as GameStop, I'm sure does cut into, the game maker's profits. If you can go in there and buy a game that came out last week for $50, well, obviously you're going to buy the game for $50 instead of $60. Mm-hmm. So, and they don't make the money on that twice. They only made it once. So,
yeah,
I can see both sides.
Yeah, they definitely won't do that. So don't be worried for the next console generation. Because of GameStop, they give money to developers now to even for like exclusive DLC just for pre-ordering at GameStop. Now they're doing that, which you can like that or not. But yeah, they just can't go all digital yet. Even though PC has been all digital not all digital. You can still buy the disc, but primarily digital for a while, and no one seems to be complaining too much.
That'll be a good question for our next show. We'll do it that way for our next live show or podcast, whichever one comes next, but probably live show. Let's use that as our question for everybody to respond to. If it went all digital download instead of being able to go and buy physical copies, would you be happy with that, or would it deter you from buying a gaming console or gaming period? We'll do that. That'll be a good one. We'll read some responses on the next episode.
Great.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, you got anything else?
No,
the TOA Media, we're planning on rolling that full out for starting at the end of pretty much the beginning of next week, right?
Yeah, probably shooting for Monday.
Yeah,
Monday sometime. Probably going to roll out some articles. I know, Hated, you've put out a video this week. Obviously, this kind of kicks it off with the live show. We, on that note, we wanted to try this out and see how this worked. We will definitely be asking for some feedback on this from you guys, letting us know how much you enjoyed this, whether it's worth listening to, how boring we are, blah, blah, blah. And so this is kind of a trial run. This is an idea of the stuff that we're wanting to do with TOA Media. We're wanting to do things that are different, that we haven't ever done before, or if it's something we've done before, do it a lot better. So basically, just everybody that's listening, make sure you give us some feedback on it, either in the chat box as we wrap it up here or on the forums, either one. Let us know what you think, and that will at least guide us in what we need to do for the next one. But like I say, past that, I'm out. I'm like the hobo with no money. My pockets are empty. So we'll call it a wrap for tonight. We'll look forward to talking to everybody in game and on the forums, and we'll look forward to the next show.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, much appreciated.